Thank you, Dr. Nair, and my colleagues. Welcome once again to India Business Forum. India is poised to be among top 5 aviation nations in the world by the end of this decade. In this regard, Indian Civil Aviation Ministry has taken initiative, and they held interaction Secretary Civil Aviation and private sector and public sector on 2nd November of this last year. And it was to promote how we can work together with ministry from the industry side. So there's a increasing awareness among the government and private sector and public sector to work together. Let me state that it was somewhere around 95 when the Indian aerospace sector was open to the private sector. Before that, we had Hindustan Aeronautics Limited. Many of us belong to the same organization, ex-organization. And as we see that there are a lot of opportunities, as my earlier speakers have told, so I'll not repeat. There will be a growth of 300% over a decade, growth in tourism, growth in low-cost carriers, and industry has seen a growth of 17 to 18%, and expected to see a CAGR of 8.5 to 9%. Next slide, please. Please go to the next slide. Okay, so this has been covered almost, so I'll go to the next slide. It shows how the million of passengers will be flying yearly. So as Dr. Nair says that I like to be fast on this. So there will be a passenger growth, and there will be similarly cargo growth of more than 5,052,000 of tons by the year of 2022, as it is projected today. Maybe it will be more. Next. Yeah, there is a lot of market potential. Today we have about 250 airports. Out of that, 130 odd are operational, and there is a plan, probably as director has put it before me, and that it may go to 500. Now, while we are all discussing about the opportunities for the aviation in terms of the number of aircraft, but there is a very less discussion about what is the sport equipment required or logistics required. That's the one area where we see a lot of potential: ground test equipment, ground sport equipment, ground handling equipment, or different maintenance-related projects of LRUs, line replaceable units. So we see that this is one area which is slightly less attended compared to the import of the aircraft as such. So we can invite those industries which are involved or companies which are involved in working on the sporting areas, like avionics and other areas, who want to work along with the Indian companies, either as a joint venture or set up the facilities along with them. Right, so India will require, I'll say, additional small-sized passenger aircraft. Market for business jet is on a beat. And as we will be knowing that 1320 passenger aircraft, about $150 billion for next 20 years, and there is now as offset clause of 30%. So there is likely to be the market for that much, which can be as an offset market for the other companies to participate in India. Another area which is normally while we press upon commercial aircraft, there's a good potential for the small aircraft, whether it's a trainer aircraft or business jet aircraft, 2 to 20-seater. Many of you may be knowing that the Pilatus aircraft has been selected by Indian Air Force for the training purposes. So it may be the requirement of 75 aircraft in the beginning, but it may grow later. And there is also participation requested from the foreign companies to work along with the Indian companies, like Hindustan Aeronautics Limited is also developing its own turboprop trainer aircraft, where there can be good participation or good involvement. MRO business is likely to grow as only new companies are taking up. There is no, other than Air India, which has got already with Boeing, they are starting MRO, and GMR Group is starting MRO. But there is a good potential that in new participation can be, or JVs can be formed for the MRO work. On the civil aircraft development side, which probably I'd like to share with you, NAL, National Aerospace Lab, is developing 14-seater aircraft, which is flying, prototype is flying under a certification process. Along with that, there is a National Civil Aircraft Development Team, which is designing 90-seater aircraft. So this is going to be two new aircraft which are under development. And Hindustan Aeronautics Limited has produced so far about 3,000 aircraft and 600 helicopters and 3,500 engines. And company has got a very good order book position for making and developing new aircraft as well as manufacturing new aircraft. NAL is in the process of realizing this 5-seater that several private players have joined hand with premier aeronautical research organizations in India for developing competency. Some of the major players in industry are in the process of finalizing technical tie-ups, long-term agreements, and risk-sharing programs. So this will be the new area where the foreign investment, as a director has told Civil Aviation, that where we expect in India good potential for the companies to come and play an active role. Now next please. Next please. Okay, all right. All right, I'll just, okay, all right. So, TAL is a typical example of Indian company. It's a part of, when I'm talking TAL, it's not TAL, it's about a typical aerospace company. We have got decades of experience in aerospace industry. We have a full range of making the manufacturing activities, starting from composite machining and special purposes and avionics certification and MRO under one roof. We had runway of about 2.6 kilometers long for Boeing and Airbus, and there is ample scope of diversification and, next please, expansion. And as a typical company in India now, they are having a lot of capabilities in design, manufacture of composite as well as metal, as well as furbishing. And of course, we know India is known for IT. It's going to be well known in aerospace as well. Yeah, these are some of the products which have been done at TAL, including the trainer aircraft, which we continue to export to US, and manufacture of Saras and P-68 aircraft. Next, please. And some of the participation, public-private partnership with the DRDO labs, where unmanned air vehicle and UAVs have been developed. UAVs and LUH, light utility helicopter, is under development by HL. Some of the major equipment which is generally found in some of the private sector is like autoclaves for the composites, coordinate measuring machines, pre-pack cutting machines, clean rooms. That is, next please. And heavy, high presses like 6,500 ton presses, profilers, furnaces, different type. Next. As we said, for civil aircraft, there is approval for CAR-21, CR-45, and for military aircraft, there is a SEMILAC and DJQA authorities and Department of Science and Technology. Next, please. These are some of the customers in India for the any foreign countries to participate. Next, please. It's a strategy for any company. It's a platform for leveraging offset obligations from defense and civil, and tie up with international reputed companies. Basically, I'll skip, as Doctor says, its time is short. Indian companies are open to JV, which can bring innovative technologies. That's the one point which we want to emphasize. While normal conventional technologies may be there, but we look forward to the companies who can bring the new technologies to India. Next, please. So, to last, we believe in growth through collaboration and innovation. Thank you very much.